That's the podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. We're going to be diving into the latest around Arsenal. Mikel Arteta is set to go in the market to find another forward in January after the injury of Reiss Nelson. We'll be talking about the EPL coming back in 7 days. We'll be talking about MUDRYK. We'll be talking about Arsenal trying again for Danilo and Mikel Arteta's comments after the 2-0 defeat to Juventus B yesterday. Hit the like button for me. Let's get this video to 400 likes. Subscribe to the podcast as well. We're very close to 61,000 subscribers. And in the comment section, let's have the conversation. After Reiss Nelson's injured, after Gabriel Jesus is injured as well, those are two players that are now injured on the forward line. Do we need to get more than one forward probably in January? I've had discussions with people online that Edin Ketia will not be the only striker we rely on, and that could be something that is very, very much true. So let me know in the comment section, what do you think? Do we need a striker and then a forward, or just need one winger, one forward, and everything will be just all right? Let me know in the comment box below. I'm happy to get your thoughts and reactions in there. Now, we are still doing our charity giveaway on the channel. So if you still have anything to give away, if you still have to, if you feel you can give away to the Cancer Home of Kids, I launched that yesterday. So we are giving something for Christmas, something for a new year for these kids that are suffering from cancer. You can use my numbers on the screen. Those numbers are also in the description. Thank you so much. Robert is the only person that has actually sent something on my account. And like I said, it's going to be very, very transparent. That is something like $1.5, which is around 5,500 in my country. Okay. So let's continue the charity. Let's continue the giving. Thank you so much. Now, let's get into the news. First and foremost, yesterday we lost 2-0 at the Emirates Stadium against Juventus B, against a side that actually didn't name any professionals in their side. Allegri was very, very happy, and he actually was asked about joining Arsenal after Arsene Wenger left, and he said those were all rumors. I was never close to joining Arsenal. It was all rumors, but Arsenal is a great place. I love the club. I love the atmosphere here, and the welcome we've actually received. To be honest, I would have loved Max Allegri to be an Arsenal manager. I would have loved Massimiliano Allegri to be an Arsenal manager. I think by the time when Arsene Wenger left, there were not so many managers better than Allegri. He is a top manager. He's won things with Juve. He's won things with AC Milan. And look, I really like him. He's one of those managers that I really like as a person. It's not even his football. It's not even his style. It is me liking him as a person. So yesterday, he beat us 2-0, and he said I was never close to joining Arsenal. It was all in Rome. So Mikel was reacting to that, and he said a couple of things in that press conference. Not really bad things. Most of the things actually were very, very positive. First and foremost, he was asked if he's going to be focusing on the performance and if there is any encouraging signs in there. And he said probably because the result doesn't reflect the performance, but it is a good test, a good learning experience for all of us as well. Games are decided in the boxes. I think they had 1 or 2 shots and scored 2 goals. We had 19 or 20 shots and had 2 on target. That's not enough. Overall, I think everything else was really, really positive. But that final thing you need to win games, that final things you need to win games wasn't even enough today. And I agree with Mikel, right there, lads, because I said it in my match reaction that we played very well. We handled the game very well. We had so many shots. We had so many chances to bury the game. Edin Ketia wasting some of them. Fabio Vieira not being that clinical with his shots at times. Then Martin Odegaard as well not being that that composed on his shots. Thomas Partey as well. But I thought we really, really played well, and there were more positives to take away from the game than the negatives. So Mikel says we were just not good enough in the final third, in the penalty area, in the box, but the rest of the game was actually very, very positive, and I kind of agree with him on that point. Mikel also on Reiss Nelson's injury, and if it hastens the plans to bring in a new forward in January. And it says, we don't know the extent of the injury for Reiss Nelson. The fact that he had to leave the pitch immediately is not good news, especially for someone like Reiss, who is exactly very, very powerful and very fast. Let's see what happens. We know what we have to do, and that doesn't change the plans. Now, to be honest with Mikel here, I think the Reiss Nelson injury changes the plan. You cannot have Gabriel Jesus injured and then you don't change your plan. Then you have Reiss Nelson injured and you don't change your plan, and you still have Emile Smith-Rowe unfit yet to play, and then that doesn't change the plan for January. I think we need to be a little bit more flexible. I know Edu and Mikel are two people that really love to work with their calendars. They have already set their calendars. They've already set their their reminders on who they're gonna sign. But I think we should be a little bit more more flexible. And for me, this is where Mikhail Mudryk actually now becomes not a priority, but now a basic need in January. Look, I love Reiss Nelson, and I really, really rate him a lot as a player, probably for another club, not Arsenal. I don't really think he's an Arsenal player, an Arsenal prodigy, but he can go anywhere and become such a successful player. But even with a player that I really think is not an Arsenal man, is not an Arsenal player, Reiss Nelson, when he gets an injury, when he picks up an injury, we must actually replace him. I saw Marquinhos come onto the pitch. Marquinhos is still very, very young. I know many Arsenal fans like him. I like him as well, but we cannot put all that burden. We can't put all that, we can't lift all the burden onto his shoulders. So for me, the injury for Reiss Nelson and how long it's going to be out for actually will determine how fast we go for Mikhailo Mudryk. So if it's going to be a week, it's going to be 2 weeks, that's all right. But if the news comes out and Reiss Nelson is going to be out for 2 months, is going to be out for 3 months, that is a seal in the deal for Mikhailo Mudryk. We will have no option now. It's either you pay up or you pay up, because there is no other way. There's no other way out. I don't think you get the quality of Gabriel Jesus combined with the quality of Reiss Nelson in a player like Facundo Torres. You will definitely not do that. So let's wait and see what comes out of there. But Mikel says the plan is unchanged, and I disagree. I think the plan should change. I think we should be more flexible in January following the injuries that we will actually have. Injury updates on Tomiyasu, Smith-Rowe, and Alexander Zinchenko. Mikel said Emile hasn't been able to train in the last few days, but hopefully he can start training next week. He's been out for a while now. He needs some time to get back to speed. We really need him, and we are going to welcome him with both arms because he's a very, very important player for us. We need him on the pitch. Alex is progressing well, and Tomiyasu is running on the pitch as well. Hopefully, we are going to get the international players who have been at the World Cup joining again this week, and then we'll be able to be watching William Saliba tomorrow to see if he can win the World Cup. So, in terms of injury updates, I think there is nothing to be scared of. Emile is coming back, Zinchenko is coming back, Tomiyasu is coming back. The only big injury blow is Reiss Nelson and Gabriel Jesus, okay? And then he says most of the international players as well will be back in training this week. Of course, they did come back last week. Most of them did come back last week. And that's where you see Aaron Ramsdale played in that game. You saw Xhaka played in that game as well. So they are back, but Mikel expects them to be in full, vigorous training this week. Okay, so I mean it's only 7 days away from the Premier League. On if Eddie Nketiah feels ready for the return of the Premier League, which is actually 7 days away. Mikel says Eddie is always ready. He knows that it opens up an opportunity for him. He needs to grab it, but in the way he trains every day and the mentality he has, he gives us no reason not to think he's going to be a super performer and super ready to perform for us. I don't think Eddie Nketiah has actually shown that in the last 3 games we played. I don't think Eddie Nketiah has proven that he's ready to take the bull by the horns. I don't think. I've seen his performances. Maybe it's just because we are in a relaxed mode, but I don't think we are really in a relaxed mode. Odegaard is playing well. The likes of Ben White are playing well. The likes of Gabriel Magalhaes are playing well. Carl Hayne has been very, very fantastic for us. And Fabio Vieira has been the player of the international break. Okay? So Eddie has to step up his game. He needs to step up his game. as much as he can. But I got no problems with him. I think definitely in the end, he will come around. Mikel on the feeling in the dressing room compared to the successful teams he's been part of. And he says, I think we are really, really in a good place. Everybody is in high emotion state because we are where we want to be at the top of the league. I think we have deserved to be in this position. We are in the way we've played and in the way we've approached games. This window has to reinforce where we has been to reinforce where we are. But still, the good news is there are still things to improve and become better as a team. Okay, on if it will be hard to start again at the same level the team played at before the break. Mikel says no. I think it will be really positive. The players have trained exceptionally well, better than I've probably ever seen them train. They've competed really well, played well, and just have to continue. It's a long marathon, and we have to go game by game. And finally, on Bukayo Saka and Martinelli, when they will be back, because says they'll come back straight back into the team, into the rhythm, shape, and mold of the team. We are waiting for them, and they are desperate to be back as well. I've spoken to both of them. Gabi was here today with a big smile and big energy. So that's Mikel Arteta's press conference after the Juventus game. I think key points there, the injury update probably, and what we're expecting of Reece Nelson and how it will impact the January transfer window. So this is my opinion. After losing those two, Mikhail Modric then becomes a necessity. Mikhail Modric then becomes a player we cannot do away with. It's no longer a deal we might do in January. It's a deal we must do in January. So Mikel must be thinking about that. Edu must be thinking about that. The Premier League is coming back in 7 days. I don't know how excited you guys are. I'm really, really excited to do the previews, to do the how to beat series, to do all these match reactions, all these player ratings and everything. So I hope you guys are ready. I'm going to be hitting the streets probably starting next year to get reactions from the real fans and create content from the real fans, not real fans that not that whoever will not be on the channel will not be a real fan. I'm only meaning physical fans, actually. Not real fans, but physical fans. So we're going to be hitting the streets, talking to real fans, especially in YouTube Shorts and TikTok as well. So make sure you're watching out for that, okay? So, in the other news that I've seen actually worthy is Serge Milinkovic-Savic. There is a story that has been published by Calcio Mercato in Italy that Serge Milinkovic-Savic has opened up the idea of signing for Arsenal. Now, I don't want to use the word agreed because I use it when I really feel there is an argument. This time, it's not like an argument. It's more of Serge Milinkovic-Savic moving positively towards the idea of signing for Arsenal Football Club. Now, we wanted him in the summer, but according to Fabrizio Romano, there was no paperwork, there was no groundwork, there was no work done from Arsenal towards signing Serge Milinkovic-Savic. He's a player that I really like. He's a player that I really, really feel he's meant to work and perform and do wonders in the Premier League. Like, you cannot have such a talent with that energy, with that physical build, with that presence, with that genius in the Italian Serie A. Like, come on, why would Serge Milinkovic-Savic complete his career in the Italian Serie A? Like, why? Maybe at Juve, maybe at Inter Milan, but at Lazio, of all teams, it just can't happen. I just can't see it happening. So his contract is going to be running down, I think, in the summer, or in 2024. I want to get that right. And I feel there is a club that will actually get him on a bargain or even on a free in 2024. Now, I'm not really sure that that team will be Arsenal. Our thoughts, our priorities are well defined. It is Yuri Tillemans and Danilo. Those are the two players we actually want to sign. So maybe not Arsenal, but if the player is positive to play with us, and Leicester City are thinking Tillemans is untouchable still yet, you never know. Maybe Arsenal could walk in there and, place a bid, maybe 15 million euros, maybe 70 million euros, just to test the waters. But this is what I think. Lazio will always try to find a way to keep that guy. They can't easily get, wrap their heads around the idea of losing him. He's so important to them. He's very, very important. But listen, we wait and see what happens. Savic would love to play for us. No, he's open to the idea. That is positive, but that is actually not enough. And finally, Arsenal will try again for Danilo. Of course, 2 bids now rejected according to Rudy Galetti, as he reported. So we will try again for Danilo. Probably a 3rd bid, probably a 4th bid as well. There are no issues with on the player side. There are only issues between Arsenal and Palmeiras, okay? So if we can agree on a price, probably 30 million euros. Look, I think Palmeiras want to have a day where they get a lot of money. It happens with all Brazilian teams. It happens with all, South American teams. They want to maximize the revenue. Now, the bad thing for them is that this is a deal that lacks a lot of competition. It lacks sufficient competition to push the price and drive the price up. So they might end up getting like 19 million euros or 20 million euros, not from Arsenal maybe, but if a club like Ajax or Dortmund were going to buy this boy, they're not giving you 30 million euros. Like, come on. They're going to give you 19 million euros and they're going to sell that guy at 100 million, all right? So I think they should just sit down, negotiate with us. We're going to give them the best price in the market. I'm not really sure about that. But we've been so good at giving good prices these days. 50 for Ben White, 30 for Martin Odegaard, 40 for Fabio Vieira. We are really giving out some good money. And they should actually listen to us. But anyway, that is it from me this morning. Hit the like button. I want to remind you that if you want to donate to my cause, which is sending Christmas and New Year's package to a cancer to a cancer home of kids, you're gonna be using those numbers. We are just trying to help out society. We're just trying to drive out one of the worst diseases in the world right now. Probably we cannot heal them, but we can actually be with them and say, this is from Cossy's Arsenal podcast. You guys, you can enjoy your Christmas as well. And thank you so much to Robert, who has actually donated. So please, let's do the donation, and I'll see you in the next one.